What's up YouTube? We're a couple of cunts. We're in the countryside. We're talking about crime. I have to admit, most of my experience of crime is based on TV and films and 999 reconstructions.
Help! I'm on fire!
I've not really, I've not even really seen crime occurring. I've never witnessed a mugging or anything like that. You've nearly been mugged. You mentioned that in a previous
episode. You should have lived in
episode,
Nottingham and seen drug deals, fights, the works.
Yeah, you've seen where I live. The closest you're going to get to crime here is one sheep shitting on another sheep's turf.
Or someone downloading a song illegally.
No, that would never happen.
Some fucker managed to clone my debit card once a couple of years ago. That was a bit of a pisser. My bank managed to stop them pretty much straight away, and rather than try and do something straight off, they decided to try and make a test purchase beforehand, which then flagged it up in their system. They made a £1 purchase from Amazon. They're sort of like, what would you do that for? If you're going to buy something, just go all out and do it. Something that will flag it up as making, you fucking buy something for £1 from Amazon. Really.
How did that flag it up though? How did they know you weren't just making a pound?
I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but it's probably the fact that it's good, but I don't know, because then there's obviously some method they can pick up on.
Banks are pretty good at that. I had a great moment. I think it was for my 23rd or 24th birthday. The day of my birthday I got a call from the bank saying, sorry, we think your card's been compromised, so we're stopping it. I was like, going to Nottingham to spend all my birthday money soon, thanks for that. Just like, what a birthday present that was. Lack of money. I'm lying, of course, about actually having no experience of crime, because in motherfucking Doncaster train station, pissing Doncaster, I'm forever fucking prejudiced against that place. I had a big old case with me, and it must have had about 200 DVDs in it, and PS2 games and shit. And yeah, I mean, it was when I was at uni. I basically had all my favourite DVDs and stuff in the one case, so I could easily transport them home and back. I was on my way home one time. I was in Doncaster train station, sat there on a bench with it by my side, headphones in. I must have been sitting on this bench no more than 15-20 minutes. Some fucker pinched it.
Just to show
right from next to me
how easy it is as well to do stuff like that, which is annoying.
It's like, how fucking ballsy do you have to be to just nick it from someone right as they're sitting there?
My only other experience of that is actually similarly also to do with trains. I was on a train once, and I used to have just this little FC UK wash bag. It had none of the original stuff that came in with it, none of the like fancy gear. It was literally an FC UK bag. And I think the logo must have been sticking out the top of my rucksack, which was quite full. This person decided, rather than stealing my whole rucksack with everything there, thought, oh, it's got a label on it. They nicked that, and literally this bag had in a can of deodorant, toothpaste, and a toothbrush. That was it, what they managed to steal. But they looked at it and thought, it's got a label on it, I'll steal that.
You go, criminals.
Well done. How desperate do you have to be nicking stuff like that?
Seriously, when my house was burgled, like they took all sort of expensive shit, but they also took like canned food and crisps. Yeah, seriously.
Maybe they just ate them while they were robbing. Like,
no, they actually took them because like we know who did it. So they were like all druggies and that. So obviously they took the food as well.
There's quite a lot of funny statistics like that when people do get burgled. Like the number of burglars who will stay and make themselves a cup of tea, help themselves to food, or have a cigarette, or even fall asleep, or something like that because of the adrenaline rush. But the number of burglars they used to catch by the fact they would, be owners of a house wouldn't smoke. They'd find a cigarette butt outside because obviously this guy's gone in there, broken the door down or something, and he's then suddenly feeling, this whole rush of adrenaline suddenly stopped, and he's just sort of like, oh, I need to calm myself down. What's the smoker going to do? They're going to have a cigarette. They'll leave a cigarette butt there. DNA, they can get it straight away off one of those.
These days, the even more common and even more stupid thing is people posting on Facebook. Some people broke into a house, logged onto the computer while they were there, logged onto their Facebook and left themselves.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen that on Cracked, but you see stuff like that, especially on stuff like the Darwin Awards as well, like really stupid things people do.
How fucking dumb can you get, really? I don't go in for this checking in shit on Facebook, because basically you saying I'm in this location is you saying I'm not in my house.
I really fucking hate checking in as well. I really hate when people make really fucking mundane checks, like I'm at Sainsbury's. Who gives a fuck if you're at Sainsbury's? Identity theft is a big thing these days. Whenever someone calls in to where I work, I have to do a standard security check with them, which is 3 pieces of information I have to ask them. Usually, it will be date of birth, first line of address, postcode, stuff like that.
Common shit,
yeah. The number of times I will ring the Inland Revenue or very important organisations like that and they don't ask me these details and will surrender vast tracts of information to me. It's just sort of like, I could be anyone right now, and you're just quite happy giving this information to me. It's a little worrying. Anybody from the Inland Revenue is watching this, fuck you. Not because I owe you money, or I think, you know, any of your policies are unfair. Just your staff are all lobotomized. Get some people who fucking know how to use a phone. If anybody I know actually works for Inland Revenue, get a better job. A friend of mine, Tony, was involved with a group in Nottingham called Notting Hack.
Not a shit name.
Not actually a group of hackers, very good. I advise anybody who lives in Nottingham to go there sometime. But one of the things he showed us was how to lockpick, which I found
useful everyday skill.
Well, no, I found it really, really interesting because to begin with, I was thinking, well, you know, lockpicking, that sounds a bit suspect, but statistically, no, criminals don't actually use lockpicking. It was something that locksmiths themselves used to do for fun to try and break each other's designs. Most
You're
crimes.
not a locksmith, though.
No, I'm not. Most crimes, it's forced entry or failure to secure a property. Shown us just to show you the mechanisms behind physical security. There was a method called bumping, which is what you do. You get your key, you insert it almost all the way into the lock, but basically one pin or tumbler off of the back. You then apply a bit of pressure, turn it, hit it on the back, and it will open most locks. Now, Americans always like to have some sort of federal or state mandate behind something. And they've got certain locks which they used to have guarding stuff like the White House, military bases. We were even using them over in this country in places like Downing Street, Buckingham Palace. And this guy was showing this girl who was only 9 years old, never had lockpicked before. He just found her in a crowd at a security convention, I believe in LA, in about 2005, 2006. Showed her this, gave her a bunch of these American-made locks, and she managed to break 10 or so of them in like a 90-second period, which just goes to show there's something that you think is so reliable, it's going to keep you safe from crime, and if you know the way around it, like that, it's quite easy.
It's nice to know that the most important things, like, I don't know, the nuke buttons, are so well secured.
Well, you're obviously going to have to get through guys with guns, but they basically said you need to be able to attack these locks for 10 minutes with power tools, or it needs to withstand 10 minutes of an expert lockpick. Or you just get a 10-year-old girl, hit the lock slightly, and it'll do that.
And the armed guards probably won't do much. I've seen Kick-Ass. I know what a 10-year-old girl can do against guys with guns.
You can just get a paperclip and a hairpin, and really quickly mould them into that. It's quite an interesting area to look into. I wouldn't advise everyone to do it because A, it's very hard to do, and B, you might get a few funny looks, but certainly lockpicking is an interesting area.
Plus, if Skyrim's taught me anything, you could use a hairpin and a knife. And
if that fails, just fireball it and it'll open. I do like that in games like Fallout and stuff. It's like as soon as you crouch, you are therefore hidden.
Yeah, yeah.
You can be right in front of someone, but if your like sneak skill is high enough, you can literally be like this, or like.
Or in Assassin's Creed, where you literally just have to go.
Yeah, I do find that quite funny as well. But that's the thing, like if you blend in properly, you can do stuff. One of my mum's friends, just for a joke, when he was a student, they were building a skyscraper near him, and he wanted to see how high he could get up on this. So he just got himself a white coat, got himself like a protractor and stuff, and a clipboard, and just walked up all the building, just going. So every morning, as he was walking up, nobody challenged him until he got almost right to the top before someone said to him, "Who are you?" It just makes you think. It's just like a lot of people do not have very good situational awareness. You can walk past the same person day in and day out, and most people don't even notice it. It just makes you worry sometimes, like how many security guards will pick up on stuff.
It's getting to the point now where just walking down the street at night is a really frightening experience. You've got gangs of drunkards about, chavs who look like they'd knife you for looking at them. You know, I was having a discussion with my friend Fad, who I've mentioned on a couple of previous occasions, while we were on one of our many long walks at uni, and we said, would you rather be stranded for a night in the countryside or a city? I instantly said countryside, obviously, because I'm comfortable here, and he said city, and he was like, come on, if you're in the countryside, you're isolated, it's creepy, there's no lights, if anything happens, you're miles away from anywhere. And I said, true, but how many people do you hear of getting mugged or beat up or knifed in the country? He was saying the lack of people scared him about the country. It's the amount of people in towns that scare me.
Each to their own, really.
It's like one of my personal heroes, Frank Turner, said in one of his songs, everyone who looks younger than me makes me check for my wallet and my phone and my keys. And it's true. I mean, yob culture and shit these days. I mean, if you're walking down the street and you make eye contact with someone, 9 times out of 10 they're going to uncomfortably look away rather than just smiling at you. And that's the kind of culture that we're living in these days, and it fucking sucks.
It was quite funny actually. I was walking through, it's been a while since I've done it, but I was walking through a part of Nottingham quite late last week. On the way there, I think I saw at least one drug deal go down, two couples having an argument, and I'm pretty certain there was some guy getting a Hummer in his car. And it's just sort of like, this is nightlife, this truly is.
It's a damning indictment of the country when we're two of the shining examples of honour and decency.
Yeah.
We've been a couple of cunts in the countryside. If you enjoyed this video, like, favourite, subscribe, share. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you didn't enjoy it, hack into our accounts and do fucking better. Feel free to suggest a topic for us to talk about in a future episode, and we'll see you next time.
You know what is a crime? The fact Rebecca Black has more hits on YouTube than us.